Running Sentences presents a bonus episode short story, A View to Forget. Susie and Brad are out on a camping trip, one that has a promise of a view of a lifetime should they complete a little hike, and if they can stop getting in each other's way along the way. This story was written and narrated by Michael Hunray. It is a work of fiction, so any names, businesses, characters, events, and situations within the story are products of the author's imagination. Any resemblance to real people, characters, businesses, events, and/or fictional businesses, characters, events, and so on is purely coincidental. Copyright 2025, Michael Hunray. All rights reserved. Brad rubbed his tired eyes as he sat up next to his girlfriend Susie. The morning was definitely upon them, and the campsite was still out there in front of them. Sleeping in the tent on the rough ground, even with the sleeping bags, was hell on his back. Why he'd agreed to this trip was beyond him, but here he is, trying to make his girlfriend happy. With a sigh, he bumped her, still sleeping form with his elbow. "Wake up." "No, more sleep." "You have to wake up. This was your plan. I don't know what we're doing without you leading the way." "Sleep is good." Yes, but not now. It's already late morning." She rose literally from her sleeping bag to sit up, still covered except for her face by it, and since she was a little taller than him and the tent wasn't that large one, her head instantly smacked into the top. "Ow!" "Careful." "A little late on that warning." "Sorry. Anyway, you wanted to get a head start in the morning by waking up early, but I think we might have missed out on that." "Shit." "Yeah," he replied with a grimace. "Things are not going our way lately." She glared at him a moment after he said this. "Well, we just have to rush and get changed, plus have breakfast on the fly. Get out of this tent so that I can get changed." Camp was a quick breakdown in stuffing things into their respective bags and then lugging it back the few feet to their car. Then dumping it in there so that they could get on their little hike, a thin trail that, according to the internet, led to an amazing heights and sights. Brad had his doubts, but for the sake of Susie, he chose to keep his mouth shut on that point. "This trail is so small," he said before he really thought about it. "Yeah, we took the one less traveled because it's supposed to be prettier this way." Yeah. Brad's doubt was leaking out, and this trail was fairly densely populated, but with plant life growing around it, and sometimes on it. There was little one could actually see aside from those plants, and it felt like sometimes there was a version of poison ivy creeping and crawling along the ground, waiting to snake at their ankles, which were bare because they were wearing hiking shoes with low socks and shorts, so every bug and insect was going to be going for them. "Yes, I know, it doesn't look good, but I swear it will open up and look nice soon. The photos I saw of this path are amazing. Please just trust me on this, Brad." You know I trust you. I just like to worry when things don't look up to snuff." "It's fine. Questioning the internet never works for anyone. It's best to go along with what they say." Brad now really felt the need to question that, but also knew a lot better than to do so. It took a good while before they managed to clear that brush, that last part of the path, and things did clear up a bit with that brush and brambles not being so close to it anymore. The downside was that most of the path no longer looked like it existed, and the plants were now just everywhere around them. "This is the right path." "I believe so, yeah, Susie." He didn't really want to say that she'd chosen this wrong path, and that they'd followed all the paths and the signs to the GPS to the spot, which said it was real from the looks of things. And part of him was wondering if people only went down that first part of the trail and gave up when it didn't look like it was improving, and then going to the known way to this site. But he shrugged to himself and thanked his stars that he was behind his girlfriend, so she couldn't see the doubt etched on his face. "What do you mean you believe so? Are you telling me that you don't trust where I'm taking us? Or have you seen some other trail that I missed out on our journey to get to this amazing spot? I didn't mean that. I didn't see anything else. I was merely supporting you and your choices. Sure doesn't feel like it. She stomped off a few paces ahead. He did his best to keep up. Further down the path in the early afternoon, a bench had loomed into sight, with Susie then careening towards it and sitting down heavily on it, a huff of a sigh, annoyed with things coming out of her as she sat. You okay? No, Brad, this was supposed to be a nice trip, and all of this weirdness has happened. Nothing bad has happened, though. We're on the right path, and you can lead us to a great spot that you've reportedly found. It's not a big deal. It is. This is supposed to be a quick, fun little trip to give us a nice memory, and now we have memories of trying to do something together, which is probably nicer than just seeing a sight. She looks at him, though, shaking her head no. How is it probable? It should just be nicer, and Susie stumbled over her words, searching and continuing on. It should be nicer, and we had an image to remember it by. Right now we're going through the same rough brush that we continually see, even if we don't know it's headed in the right direction, and this is just a pain. I say it's a good thing. How and why, Brad? We have this memory of us trying to do something together, trying to make the best of things. Isn't that good? You did not want to make the best of this and didn't want to take this trip. He nodded. Okay, yes to that. I agree, fine, but what's more important, of you or us doing something together? You are saying this to make me feel better. Yes, and it doesn't seem to be working since you've put up a defensive wall of not wanting to hear nice things. You'd be right about that. This isn't helping. He knelt down beside her. Let's go see the rest of this path has to offer us. If in a few minutes we get nothing, we can turn around and head home. I know a couple of good spots to stop off that will cheer you up along the way. She slowly rises, taking his hands as he offered it to her and stood up himself. Now back to her feet and taking in a fortifying breath, Susie turns and points back up the path. Alright, let's show this trail who's boss. It already knows who's boss, Susie. Yeah, it does. Because what the fuck is all this overgrown shit? Seriously, off the beaten trail, but not completely. There needs to be better markers out here. It took a few more minutes of hiking down this off-the-beaten trail to arrive at the view they'd been looking forward to. Before them, a breathtaking, serene sight of a beautiful icy mountain-fed lake. The trail had taken them to a spot undisturbed by people, a little rock that faces out and stood above it all. Unfortunately, the serene part was just that little section as the lake and beach area below them were filled with people enjoying the view that they had and the water all to themselves. Loudly, almost at the level of an ongoing party, just everyone for themselves instead of actually a raging party. I cannot believe this. The sights are that we got here, Susie. She pinched his arm. The people, there is beauty all around them, and all they're doing that? Partying and ignoring all of it because the cool, cold water on a hot summer's day? Well, they are enjoying things, perhaps not in the way you want them to, but they are enjoying the beauty of it. You're not helping. They're ruining this site and the potential ecosystem. Yeah, it isn't pretty, but we can't do much, though, can we? No, we can't. Let's just head home. This sucks. The people around the world want to see beautiful sights, but they let others clean up the messes they leave behind because they don't really care about them. Did we leave any messes on that trail? Susie asked. No, I don't think so, but we can check on the way out. Do you... Oh yes, Brad, we are definitely stopping by my favorite restaurant to pick up some food that is bad for us, and you're paying so that I feel better about all of this. He shrugs, and they turn to head off back towards home. The end of the short story, A View to Forget. Thank you for listening.